So, are you nervous yet? At this point, it's probably a good idea to be nervous. It's a lot. There's going to be a lot going on in the class, and it works at a very high level. So yeah, it's going to take a lot of time, especially given that it's accelerated class. It's good to be nervous but not paralyzed. Don't get paralyzed by this. You can do it, but it takes commitment. The commitment it's going to take is time. So you got to manage that time. You got to make sure that you put the time in. Yes, it's an online course. Make sure you don't fall into the trap that a lot of previous online students have fallen into in thinking that, okay, I don't have to work on it today. That's not how it works. In this class, for the next 5 weeks, you need to work on it every single day. You need to do something with this class every day. Accept that. Maybe you get Sunday off, but every other day you should be doing something with the class. It's going to take that much time. So it's going to be a challenge. It's going to represent a challenge for you. And you might get to a point where you're not so sure you can do this. I'm going to push you that hard. I'm going to push you to a point where you're going to be maybe a little uncomfortable because I need to get you up against your envelope. I need to push you past that envelope a little bit to widen it, to expand it, just a little bit. Now realize something. I will never ever ask you to do something that you cannot do. I will never ask you to do something that is beyond your capability. I know what your capabilities are. I've been teaching this class for a very long time. So the point though is this. There may come times when you think that I'm pushing hard, maybe too hard. I'm not. So don't give up on yourself. That's the point. You'll know you're giving up on yourself if you give up on the course. If you think the course is too hard, if you think there's too much going on and you can't handle it, that's giving up on yourself. Don't do that. You can do this if you do the right things, if you adopt the right strategy and the right attitude. First, the attitude must be, I'm going to do this, I don't care what he throws at me. So make sure that you've got yourself grounded and that you've got yourself to a point where you feel that you can actually do this. But accept it's going to be a challenge. There's another thing. A lot of students in the past have made mistakes where they say, okay, well, he's just trying to scare me. They always scare me. That's what the professors always do. No, I'm not doing that, guys. That's not what I'm doing. This is a difficult course. Accept that. There's going to be a lot of time, and by the third day, you'll realize it. So don't take 3 days to realize it. Accept it now. Take it right off the bat. So that's the issue with the accelerated course. You should be putting 5 to 6 hours a day, 5 to 6 days per week into this course. That's 5 to 6 hours per day. Now, if you're working and taking another course, that's a lot, and that's going to be basically what you do for your life. So just be prepared for that. If this is the only course you're taking and you're working, students have done that in the past and been successful, but they got tired because there was a lot of effort that needed to be put in. So just realize that if this were a face-to-face class, you'd be in lab three out of the 4 days that we would meet, and you'd be in lecture 4 out of those 4 days. You'd be in lecture 2 hours every one of those 4 days, and in lab 3 hours every one of those 3 days. So that's the kind of commitment that just is in class, and then you, in addition, have the homework and things like that. So this is the same kind of time commitment as it would be in a face-to-face class. So how do you handle it? How do you survive a situation like that? Well, the key is time management. Make sure specifically that you set aside time to do all of these things. Set aside that 5 to 6 hours. Set aside the exact days you're going to work and follow it as if you're going to class. You set the schedule though. The course doesn't set the schedule. The college doesn't set the schedule. You do. You have to do that. But make sure you do and follow through. Execute. Make sure you follow your own schedule. And then make sure you start these assignments early. The day you get an assignment, start on it. Because you only have a couple of days to get it done, and sometimes it's going to take 2, 3, 4, 5 hours just that one assignment. So it's going to maybe take a couple of days to do. Where students in the past have run into trouble is when they would let things sit and say, okay, well, I have to do the entire learning module by tonight, and it's already 2 o'clock. That is not a successful strategy. Get that started, get the learning module started, and start working on it, and you can get the quiz done early. That would be even better. Start the quiz before it's done because you got 3 shots at it. You can even start the quiz the day before and see what you get, and then see what you get the next day, and so forth. So you don't have to crush everything in. That does 2 things. First, most importantly to me and ultimately to you, it helps you learn it better. But even just as important probably to you right now, it decreases your stress level. That's what you're shooting for. You want to be unstressed, you want to be relaxed. It's been shown in psychological studies that a relaxed student retains information better. If you retain the information better, you take the quiz more easily, it flows more easily, you answer, you're more confident, which makes your stress level go down even more, which makes learning even better, which makes your stress level go down. It's a good cycle you want to get into. And again, engage that course. Start now. Start on day one. Don't wait. Don't wait and say, okay, well, I can do it later. I'm busy today and I've got this course going. No, commit yourself to this course. Engage it. That's going to be successful. The other thing is use the resources that we have. We've got the website. There's all kinds of resources on the website. Use the Canvas page. Use the Tutor Center and use office hours. Again, send me emails, contact me, and just don't be afraid to ask questions. It's really a successful way to approach the class, is to allow yourself to maybe look like you don't know what's going on. Of course, you're not going to know what's going on. If you knew everything that I'm going to teach you, why are you taking the class? So don't be afraid to look like you don't know what's happening. You will by the end of the class, but when you're learning, of course you don't. Now, one thing I want to warn you about, Google. Google is a wonderful tool. I use it all the time. The problem is this. If you use it for this class and you compare it to the textbook, a lot of students in the past have noticed something. The textbook is way more difficult to understand than a lot of the stuff that they find on Google. And so they start using the Google resources instead of their textbook. Folks, that is a mistake. There's a reason why Google's easier. Most of the resources that you're going to be able to find on Google are written for junior high and high school students. We are at a university level. Yes, this is a community college, but this is a university level course. And that is exactly how it's written in the course objectives and what's called the course equivalency guide, which is the relationship between the colleges and the universities in the state of Arizona. This is the same course, the exact same course as Bio 181 taught at ASU, and the same course as the Majors Biology level class taught at U of A and NAU. So this is a university course. We are not at a high school level. We're not at an AP level. We're above that. We're not at an international baccalaureate level. We're above that. So be prepared. Yes, you might be able to understand the Google material better, more easily, but that's because it's simpler, right? So just be aware that you might want to avoid that.